What's up, chemical guys and girls? It's Jason, the chemical guys and newbie. I have a wall of stuff behind me that I have no idea what it does, so let's find out how to polish today. I also read your comments, and it looks like today's winner for the montage is going to be romantic. I have no idea how we're gonna pull that off, so stay tuned.
He doesn't know much about detailing. He doesn't know much about detailing. He's asking lots of questions about everything, so we can learn all there is about detailing. He doesn't know much about detailing. He's a chemical guy's noob. He doesn't know much about detailing. He's a chemical guy's noob. Yeah.
The next step of the detailing process would normally be polishing. Now, because I have a newer car, I'm not sure that I even have scratches and swirls, so I'm gonna consult with Nick to find out if that's even something we should be doing or if we could use these tools for something else. So let's get started. What's up, guys? We're back and Nick is here as well.
What's up? So in the last video, you saw us clay Jason's car.
Nick, quick, clay me. No, hold on, I got you.
So now we're moving on with the detailing process, and the next step would be polishing, or if necessary, polishing. But like we had mentioned, this car is fairly brand new, where it has maybe just very minor scratches and swirls or any kind of imperfections. So what we're gonna do is inspect the paint today and also show you guys how to properly inspect the paint to determine whether your car needs to be polished or compounded, or maybe you can just skip that whole step in general and then move on to the coating process.
So basically, I would assume as a newbie that my car, it doesn't have any scratches. I mean, it's brand new. It's only like 8 months old, 9 months old. How could we be certain that there's nothing there? Like, is there a way to check?
So you can obviously use inspection lights, or you can just take the car outside. Even brand new cars will show some kind of scratches and swirls because unfortunately cars, when they're transported, they get touched or wiped down improperly, or even at the dealership where they're hastily washed, they can be scratched really easily. So what you would do is, after you've washed the car and clayed it, you can take a light such as this, and what you're doing is you're just gonna follow the beam, and you're just basically looking for any kind of swirls or spider webs or anything that basically stands out. You can see a light haze on there, but that's just from being quickly wiped down. But so far we're not really seeing any kind of real imperfections or real scratches, so we'll probably be all right with just skipping over that and moving on to applying a glaze sealant wax combination, or maybe even a ceramic to really protect the finish. But all cars are different, so it's important to do this process after you've thoroughly cleaned it, clayed it, and dried it. This way you can really see any kind of defects that are in the paint. Really not that many scratches and swirls, but look at that metallic flake in there,
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing that.
Beautiful fireball.
So if the paint looks good, obviously we don't need to correct it.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Correct it? Wait, I said we don't need to correct it.
Right. Who's on first?
Correct.
No,
we don't correct. If we don't need to correct, I guess you guys are out of luck. We're not going to show you how to use the polishers. Sorry.
All right, so tune in next time.
Tune in next time. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. There's another thing we can do with those, right?
Right.
Okay.
So like you had said, you want to learn how to use a polisher, and applying glaze sealant or waxes with a polisher is a great way to kind of get the feel for a machine, as well as like how to hold it or where you can apply things. So instead of using polish, what we're going to do is start by applying a glaze. This is going to mask any fine scratches and swirls because, like we had said, the car is in really good shape, so there's not really a need for polishing. But instead, we're going to apply a glaze, which is going to fill in those micro scratches and swirls while also enhancing the metallic flake, and also adds a little bit of paint protection. But to take it a step further, we're also going to apply either a sealant and wax combination, or one or the other. And this is going to, again, be something you can apply by hand or machine. And then this is going to give your car a longer lasting layer of protection, which gives your car the most longevity on its paintwork.
What's the difference between like a sealant and a wax?
So the difference between a sealant and a wax is, the easiest way to explain it is a sealant is a man-made wax. So your natural Carnaubas come from plants, and that's where you get your traditional paste waxes from, and then they're kind of reformulated with different polymers, and that's where you get cream waxes or spray waxes. But a sealant is a man-made wax, which lasts longer, just like your synthetic oils and things like that, where it'll last longer. But basically what you're getting is more protection, and then while using a wax, you're getting more shine. So we use them together to get the best of both worlds.
Cool. And a glaze would be glossy, like a nice glazy
so it fills
donut?
Evens out the paintwork, fills in scratch and swirls, gives it that really glossy effect.
Nice. So if you guys like glazed donuts, hit that like button, thumb it up.
I'm more of like a maple bar kind of guy.
Maple bar?
Maple bars are delicious.
Maple bars are delicious.
Yeah.
Thumb up if you like maple bars too. Yeah! So I guess what do we need to get started? We need some polishing pads.
That's right. Well, we'll actually need a finishing pad because we want to just apply a fine coat. So whenever using a machine polisher, which will typically be either a dual action or random orbital, not a rotary unfortunately, because even with a soft pad, there's always a potential that it could cut the paint, causing a haze or tiger stripes. Instead, what we're going to use is one of our torque dual action polishers with a soft pad, probably a black hex logic pad, because this spreads out a fine coat of glaze, sealant, or wax. And a common question we get is, can you reuse that pad for all 3 products? And the answer is yes. There's no real chance of cross-contaminating with these kind of products, so it's perfectly fine to use one pad to apply all 3 products. Just allow them their designated times to bond to the surface, and obviously allow about 10 minutes between them before applying your second coat. And then you're going to use the lowest speed setting to apply your product, and then allow it its proper time to cure, and then use a clean microfiber towel to wipe off the excess, and then you can obviously check your work. For the most part, that's all you need to do is just apply it and wipe it off.
What does dual action mean?
So on a singular motion or a rotary polisher, that means it just spins in one direction, like a drill or maybe the wheels in your car, hopefully. And a dual action means it's going to be spinning in that same direction while also oscillating in that singular direction.
Okay, so better for newbies.
Better for newbies.
It's an orbital dual action?
Yeah,
Same
orbitals,
thing?
DAs, pretty much the same idea. So
Okay,
dual actions, it'll follow one certain path while a path, and a random orbital kind of has its own,
random
idea.
orbital path.
Yeah.
If you're a newbie, you want to get that dual action.
I always recommend starting off with either the Torque X or the Torque 10FX, which both have an 8mm throw, but they're both really easy to pick up and learn how to polish your car or apply glaze, sealant, waxes, or with the right combination or right attachments, you can use it for scrubbing your seats and your carpet. But basically why I recommend that is because, one, it's a great price, it's really easy to use, and also it's a machine that is very forgiving. Like Jason had mentioned, this is a machine that it oscillates while also rotating, so it disperses the heat rather than putting it in one central area where you could burn the paint.
Do we need to do anything to prep the car before, like use a quick detail spray or like make sure that we're good even though we just clayed it?
Not really. I mean, yeah, we've already washed it, we clayed it, and if you want to take a step further, you can use something like Wipeout just to remove any kind of oils or any potential things that could be on the surface. But for the most part, we're ready to go. You can just slap on your glaze, sealant, wax combination.
So I guess we'll grab the pads and the polishers and get started. Boom. So I grabbed a Torque X and a black finishing pad. Would it be called?
Yeah.
Okay,
finishing
cool.
pad.
And I applied it directly onto this guy, dead center. And the reason for that, I learned from Nick in another video. Basically, if you don't have it centered and it's like over here, this thing's gonna rotate and it's gonna be like all over the place. You definitely don't want that. If you use a bigger pad than you're supposed to, like this giant boy, you might think you're covering more surface area with a smaller unit, but on the back you've got all this rollover, and when you put pressure, it's just gonna bend this and break your pad and potentially
It'll potato chip the pad, and then that'll kill the longevity on it. Also, if you use a smaller pad where you have more backing plate showing, there's always potential of harming the paintwork. So yeah, use the right size pad for every job.
You really want to line it up, like really. This is so hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time. Bam.
It is.
Nice. We grabbed some wet mirror finish and some cherry wet wax.
These two products, when they work together, they really enhance brighter finishes. So wet mirror is something we recommend for something that's red or a bright yellow or orange. And then you have cherry wet wax, which obviously just by the color pigment would be something you use on a brighter color such as your reds and oranges. And together this is going to give you a warmer glow while also masking any kind of minor imperfections and also enhancing the metallic flake.
I'm also going to put on Newbie Vision. Here we go. I'm going to grab the wet mirror finish first. Grab my Torque X, and what's next, Nick? Shake this thing up, I guess?
So you're going to mix that product together just by shaking it up. There's no need to apply any kind of pad conditioner because we're only using the lowest speed setting.
Okay.
And then you're going to apply 5 dime-sized dots to the pad and then just spread out using that lowest speed setting. This is one of those joke ones where it still has a seal in it.
So newbie move. You gotta open this up when you get a new bottle and you need to remove the seal. Oh, look at all that goodness. We're gonna open this guy up. We're gonna apply 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I've seen you do this before where you wipe it to close.
Exactly.
Pro tip. That's a Nick pro tip. Now what?
So you want to make sure that the pad is flat at all times, and
Okay.
also you're using the lowest speed setting when we're spreading this out. But basically you just want to use a cross-hatching pattern, kind of like you're mowing the grass where you're evenly applying it to the vehicle.
Okay. So now I just turn it on?
I would dab it out first just so we don't have any kind of fling.
Oh,
or
okay.
mess.
Oh yeah, think about that. If I turn this on and it starts spinning in my face, that'd be a bad idea. So,
So first, low speed
I'm
setting.
probably gonna scratch my paint with this.
Yeah, put that on your shoulder.
So this goes around my shoulder. Okay.
Or you can cut that off and make it a cordless polisher.
There you go. I don't think it would work as well. Dab it first.
Yep. And you can spread that out more too. It doesn't have to be all in the same.
All in the same area. It could just be like all over the car here.
Exactly.
Okay. And then turn this thing on.
While it's on, with the dual action, you want to place the pad on the vehicle and then turn it on.
Okay. Whoa. And so just kind of spreading this back and forth on this setting here?
Exactly, yeah.
And how do I know I'm not like messing up anything? Just keep it totally even?
Yeah, keep the pad flat. This way it's not digging in. But you shouldn't really have to apply any pressure. Just basically spreading it out.
Yeah, I'm barely touching it. I'm kind of just guiding it.
Exactly, that's all you need to do.
Okay. So now I spread this out. Now I just bump up the speed.
Leave it on the lowest speed setting and then cover as much of the surface as you can with the amount that you have on your pad. And then once it starts to go dry or you don't see much of a haze anymore, that's when you're going to reapply to the pad. But just continue using the same lowest speed setting and also covering your passes so that you're leaving a uniform coat.
So here we go. Turning it on, and then I'm using this dial to bump up the speed.
Oh my God, you're doing it wrong.
Turn it off. Nick speed regulated me.
I know you got excited, but
Yeah.
still with any kind of applying glaze sealant waxes, just the lowest speed setting.
Oh, okay. I was definitely creaming that thing. I definitely got excited. So why is that?
We're not trying to polish with it, we're just basically applying it. Just like what
Okay.
you do with your hand application, you're just letting it sit on there and
Gotcha.
then it'll just cure, and that's it. It's not necessarily bad, but there's always potential that that could be cutting, and that'll leave tiger stripes because the finishing pad doesn't really, not necessarily dig into the paint, but there's always a potential that it could leave a haze. So
Okay.
yeah, the lowest speed setting, just apply it, and then we'll let it cure, and then wipe it off. 10 minutes should do it, yeah.
Okay.
It may be a
And
little
then,
quicker depending on how hot it is
We'll see
outside.
you guys
but
in
yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we'll wipe this thing off. Okay guys, so a couple tips on things that I noticed while I was polishing. Pressure-wise, you definitely don't want to press down so hard that the pad stops spinning. One thing that I noticed I could do while I was polishing, if you see the labels right here, the little torque label, as this thing's spinning, you can watch it spin. And I noticed that when I put too much pressure on it, I could see that it stopped and I can actually read the label. So you want to make sure that that thing is consistently spinning. Another thing I did was I put too much pressure on one side, so it started dipping, and Nick corrected my arm on that a little bit to make sure that I was polishing the right way.
Yeah, I mean, that's risking the backing plate with coming into coming in contact with the vehicle, because now the pad is squishing down. As you felt, the pad is really soft, so there's nowhere for it to go. So if you're applying it at an angle like that, there's the chance of creating a hot spot, which will mar the paint, or it'll just squish down the pad so much that the backing plate is now rubbing up against the vehicle, and that'll cause it to obviously really scratch it.
And that would be bad. We waited 10 minutes and it looks like it's hazed up a bit. I guess we just wipe it down now?
That's it. Yeah, you take a clean towel, wipe off the excess product. You can use something really soft, like a happy ending towel, or just traditional workhorse. but,
Happy ending.
we're not getting into that.
I think for today's romantic montage, we should be using happy ending towels.
It's true. Well, I've set up a red one over there.
Oh,
for you.
what? We're gonna grab this passionate red happy ending towel. Still use the four-fold method. And that gives me a little extra cushioning, little padding. I'm just gonna buff left and right in a linear fashion.
That's right. Those videos are paying off.
And as you can see, the haze just comes right off and leaves a nice shine. I think that's it.
It really is that simple.
Since it's the same process for the next piece, we're just gonna time lapse this to some really chill music. And we're gonna put the cherry wet wax on the same way we just put the wet mirror finish on. Be back in 10 minutes. Okay guys, 10 minutes has passed and this thing has hazed up quite a bit. You can see the right side that we haven't done anything to, and this side here. Now I'm gonna take my red happy ending towel and buff this cherry wet wax right off the hood to reveal a luscious cherry shine. Dang, that looks nice, Nick. There you go, super glossy. Looks really, really nice and shiny. And that's also protecting the paint, right, Nick?
Correct, yeah. And also, if you didn't know, fun fact, reds and also some of the darker oranges, they fade faster than other colors just because of the way that UV rays absorb, or the color absorbs UV rays.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so if you see a lot of red cars look kind of pink, it's because of the UV rays.
I don't know if you can pick up the difference on camera here, but the right is definitely, it's shiny because we clayed it, it looks nice, you know. But man, look at that gloss. This side is done. We obviously only did half the hood. I need to do this side of the hood, but that's where the montage comes in. You guys requested a romantic montage. I have no idea what that's even gonna look like.
Me either.
But here we go. So it's not gonna be easy, it's gonna be really hard, but I wanna work at this every day with you because I want you. I want you to polish, I want you to shine. What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Whatever I choose, somebody else is gonna get hurt. Whether I choose butter wet wax, black light, doesn't matter.
No, not what I want, not what the car wants. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
I want cherry wet wax.
Cherry wet wax. All right, let's do it. Never let go. All right, there you go, guys, your romantic montage. If you like that one, give it a fat thumbs up and put your comments down below what the next montage should be. As you may have noticed during that montage, I hand applied some wax to my side mirror. If you want to do that, that's perfectly okay. You just use a microfiber applicator and rub the wax on, wait the 10 minutes for it to haze just like normal, and then rub that off with your microfiber towel. The only thing with that is it's a lot more work probably if you were to do your whole car like that. So, you know, the good news is if you can't afford a polisher, you can still wax your car, but if you can spring for that polisher, it'll save you a load of work. And also, if you saw me doing any weird stuff in the video, that was purely for entertainment purposes. Definitely keep things clean. Don't drizzle the product everywhere. 5 dime-sized drops on the pad and you should be good to go. Keep everything nice and tidy. We are into the details after all. Right, Nick? Anything else to add about this?
Looks great. I mean, as you had mentioned, the car is, you know, nice and coated now. It looks a lot, yeah, it looks very shiny now, and that's because of the combination of glaze and the wax. And you can always go for a sealant, glaze, sealant, wax combination, but I think for today we're gonna stick with the glaze and wax, something kind of traditional. But again, using the machine makes it very easy, and also it also saves product. And as you saw there, it was very quick. So yeah, machine is the way to go. I'm
not sure what the next step of the detailing process is. This guy knows, but he probably won't tell you till the next episode to keep you guessing. And we'll see you next time.